Hello everyone. Welcome to class. Today we are teaching on a Friday, but if you are joining us and joining me in the future, that's wonderful. So happy day, whatever day it is for you. We're going to go ahead and get started on our 45-minute practice today, starting with our meditation to help switch our hat, prepare the mind and the breath to move through our physical practice and really making that connection to our body, joining that relationship, the mind-body relationship. So we're going to start in our meditation on the ground. So coming down to a supine position, back to the mat, knees up to the sky. You have a drink with you that you want to bring with you, that's great. Maybe some tea or cold coffee. When we get there, we're going to widen the feet as wide as the yoga mat. Letting the knees drop and fall together. Being mindful of our hand placement, so lifting the shoulders up just slightly so that we can snuggle the shoulder blades right underneath the heart space. Palms can be face up or face down. If you're feeling curious and open and grounded, maybe you flip the palms face up in a receptive posture. If you're feeling a little anxious, off balance, chaotic, maybe we flip the palms face down to a grounding posture. Either way, we're deepening our breath on our inhales through the nose, out through the nose or mouth, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Start to let the belly grow nice and heavy. Taking a moment to notice anywhere that you may be gripping or holding. So maybe that's somewhere in the arms or shoulders, maybe the jaw and face. Maybe it's the low back or the hamstrings. Maybe even all the way down in the toes. We let our exhales help us weigh everything down. So everything should be pulling down towards the mat. So the skin of the face grows closer to the ears, shoulders, low back meld with the mat. Any thoughts that continue to come up? We practice turning our attention back to the breath. All of those things, those thoughts will still be there for you after our practice. So let's choose to set them off to the side. Let's take 5 more breaths here in our meditation posture today. Let's do one more, whether you've done 5 or not. Big inhale. Long exhale. At the end of the exhale, we'll heel toe our feet. Back in line with the hips through center, soul comes to soul, knees widen. Maybe you bring the hands to the tops of the thighs, doing gentle compressions. Maybe you rest your hands on the low abdomen. We're here for 1 more minute. Keeping the eyes closed, we surrender, sinking into this moment. You can always bring fists to the outside of the thighs to help support if you're feeling any pinching or pulling in the groin. That is something we want to back off from. Big inhale. Exhale, hands to outside the thighs as we gently guide the knees back together, and then lifting knees to chest, we wrap the arms, hands, fingers around the shins, gently squeezing knee to chest. Belly grows nice and heavy. Maybe we gently rock side to side. One more inhale. Exhale, we release the hands. Shins, are going to come parallel to the mat. So 90-degree angle at the knees. So we're active in our center here. Low back becomes flush with the mat, so we're scooping that tailbone. Hands come out nice and wide, so we're going big T at our sides. Palms face down for stability. Big inhale. And on the exhale, we're dropping both knees over to the left. We're not going to touch the ground with the knees just yet, so we're not going to let them release. Big inhale. Exhale, belly to spine, moving through center. We take the legs over to the right, hovering the knees above the ground, active through our center. Exhale through the midline, taking it over again to the left, being conscious of our shoulders, being in contact with the mat. Exhale through center, over to the right. Exhale through center, again over to the left. Exhale through center, over to the right. Got 2 more rounds here. So through center on the exhale, knees hover over to the left on the inhale. Exhale, over to the right. Exhale, over to the left. Exhale, over to the right, closing out our final round. Knees hover, so we're active through the center. Exhale draws us back through the midline. Knees go back over to the left, and we let them drop, releasing into an easy twist. Exhale draws you through center, active through the core as we drop the knees over to the right, letting them fall all the way down to the mat, full release, easy twist. Exhale through center. We're going to pause here. Shins are parallel to the mat. Big inhale. And on the exhale, we're straightening the legs, shining the soles up to the ceiling. That may mean that your legs don't get all the way straight. Maybe that means they're at an angle, knees bent, or ankles not directly above the hips, and that's okay. Big inhale. Exhale, we point the toes up to the ceiling. Legs are straight or as straight as we have them today. Exhale, toes to face. Exhale, toes to ceiling. Last one, toes to face. Big inhale, and on the exhale, we slowly lower both legs, slowly, all the way down. Gently letting the heels drop to the mat. Right knee comes up to the chest as we wrap the arms around the right shin. As we draw right knee to right shoulder. Big inhale. Exhale, we guide that right knee across the midline, recline twist, all the way over to the left side of the mat. As far as your body will allow. Getting that nice twist in the low back. Exaggerated stretch. Right glute, IT band. Right shoulder is pinned down to the mat. Right arm is out wide, half T at your side. One more inhale. Exhale. We draw up through center. We drop the right sole, bringing the left knee up to the chest. We wrap the fingers around the left shin as we send the right leg out long, left knee to left shoulder. Maybe using this opportunity for some ankle rotations or some ankle extension and flexion. Exhale, left leg across the midline over to the right. Left arm comes out wide, half T at your side. Noticing how this side may feel different. Exhale, draws you back through center. We drop the left sole. We bring the right sole to meet the left, so both knees are pointing up to the ceiling like when we began. And then we're going to drop both knees over to the left, curling onto our left side, fetal position. Pause here for just a moment. And then we place the right hand on the ground in front of the face to gently push us up to a seated position. When we get there, we're going to send the legs out long to the front of the mat. Sitting up nice and tall, we're going to wake up our hamstrings gently today. So moving the fleshy part of the bum to the side if you need to really feel the sits bones rooting down into the mat. Toes are pointed up to the ceiling. We pinch the shoulder blades together, opening the chest. Belly button draws back to the spine, so we're sitting up nice and tall. Let's take 3 breaths here, closing the eyes. Last one. On the next inhale, we'll gently raise hands up above the head, biceps by the ears. Maybe we look up at the space between our hands. Big inhale to grow tall. Exhale, we start to fold belly over the thighs. Hands drape over the feet or the ankles or the shins. And we drop the forehead towards the knees. So you may be experiencing some roundness in your spine, and that's okay. That's natural. If it feels okay in your hamstrings, you can stay here. But what we want to do is be bending from the hip. So we're pulling that femur bone, that thigh bone back into the socket, drawing the belly towards the front of the mat before dropping it down towards the legs. If this doesn't feel good on the hamstrings and it feels like it is putting undue stress on the back of your legs, you can bend your knees gently before dropping the forehead back towards the body. Maybe you play around with the exaggeration of the stretch along the spine by dropping the chin towards the chest, maybe rocking the head gently from side to side. One more inhale. Exhale gently. We release any grip that we have on the lower body, rolling our way up to where we started, staff pose. Left leg comes to the midline. Heel at the pelvis. Right leg stays out long. As we find our hand placement on this side with the right hand, so either palm face down inside of the thigh, palm face down outside of the thigh. Maybe we crawl and drop the forearm down by the shin. We inhale, left arm up to the sky. One more inhale here. Maybe we're looking up at our left fingers. Exhale, left arm drapes over towards the right toes. Bicep by the ears. So we're stacked shoulder over shoulder here. So shoulder, ear, or I guess it would be shoulder, ear, ear, shoulder. Keeping the chest open, pointing out towards, or in line with the midline, pointing out towards, away from the body. Big inhale. Exhale, staying nice and low. We're going to pivot the belly button towards the top of the right thigh. Chest is now sitting right above the knee as we drop the forehead towards the right leg. Just like we did in our staff pose and our seated forward fold, we're pulling that thigh bone into the hip socket and moving from the hip. Sending the breath down into the low back. Maybe you wrap the left hand around to the outside of the right foot. One more inhale. Exhale, we walk ourselves back up to a seated position. Left leg is going to stay where it's at as we wrap the right leg around, over the left leg and around, coming into our little twist. Adjusting yourself as needed. Right foot, is parallel with the outer edge of the left thigh. Right toes are pointing away from you. We wrap the left elbow around the right knee, belly button towards the top of the right thigh. As we find our twist. Maybe you drop right ear to right shoulder, exaggerating the stretch on the left side of the neck. Big inhale. Exhale. We come back to center, starting to unravel, maybe helping the right leg along, keeping it nice and gentle today as we take it to the other side. So right leg comes to the midline. Immediately noticing how it feels different on the other side. If you need a moment here to just let the hamstring know what we're about to do, feel free. If it is difficult to keep your leg straight here, you can always bring a pillow up under the hip. We know that to give ourselves some elevation. You can also bend the left knee if that feels comfortable. So finding the hand placement on this side, we drop the left arm, left hand, lifting right arm up to the ceiling. Big inhale. Exhale, right fingers over towards the left toes. One more inhale. Exhale, we shift belly button to top of left thigh, chest is over the knees. We start to drop the forehead down to the earth or down towards the left leg. Take one more inhale. Exhale, we start to crawl ourselves back up, seated position, as we wrap the left leg over to the outside of the right thigh. Finding our twist on this side. So either wrapping the right elbow, or maybe you bring the right elbow to the outside of the left thigh and find your twist this way. Big inhale. Exhale, gently we unravel this time. We're going to drop the hands to the outside of the right thigh. So the outside of your leg bind here. So you can feel this out naturally. You can feel how your body wants to move, but we're going to press into the outside of the left foot, lifting the hips and twisting into tabletop position. Once we get there, we're going to set ourselves up here and immediately drop in, inhaling, dropping the belly, open the chest. Exhale, rounding through, tucking the tail, drawing spine to belly button, pressing away from the mat, crown shines down to the earth. Inhale, drop the belly, open the chest. Exhale, we round through. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the tail, open the chest. Exhale, round through. Last one, inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, round through. Inhale draws you to tabletop position as we bring the big toes together, knees as wide as the mat, and sink the hips back onto the heels, extended child's pose. We pause here for a breath. We're starting to crawl our way down to surrender. Stay for one more inhale. Exhale, we stay nice and low as we walk both hands off the left side of the mat. Maybe you're reaching the right arm or right hand on top of the left. And dropping the crown or the forehead back to the earth. Exhale back through center and take it to the other side. Exhale, we come back through center, resting for one more moment in our child's pose. Exhale, we press into the tops of the feet, come back up to our tabletop, knees come up underneath the hips. We curl the toes on the inhale. Exhale, we're sending the hips up high, downward facing dog. We are going to be here for several breaths, so do what you need to get comfortable. Maybe pedal the legs out, maybe swaying and bumping the hips from side to side. Maybe bend the knees, both knees at the same time. Giving yourself a little more room and play in the back, the spine. We're pressing away from the yoga mat in the hands. Widening the shoulder blades across the back body. Tucking the lower ribs. Belly button draws back to the spine. Belly drops towards the tops of the thighs. Biceps are right by the ears. Tailbone lifts and shines up to the sky. Big inhales down into the belly. We feel the low back releasing on the exhale. Let's take one more inhale. And on the exhale, we drop the knees, drop the belly, open the chest, lift the tail. Exhale, we round through, tucking the tail, dropping the crown. We squeeze. One more inhale here, and on the exhale, we start to walk the hands back towards the knees before tucking the tail, rolling our way up. We've got hips stacked above the knees, so we're pressing the pelvis forward just slightly. We're firming up the glutes, but not squeezing them. Arms come up overhead, wide V. We pinch the shoulder blades together and then drop them down the back body. Chest is open and lifted, so we're not compressing in the low back. Abdomen is engaged. We're pressing down through our foundation, top of our feet. Big inhale. On the exhale, we start to sink the hips back. Chest stays nice and open. We're active in the abdomen as we start to float belly over side. Palms come down to the earth, prayer position.
We drop the head, forehead comes down to the mat. Big inhale. Exhale, we press into the tops of the hands, lifting up through tabletop, and then we send the pelvis and tops of the thighs down towards the mat. Shoulders are right above the wrists, elbows are straight. High cobra. So lower abdomen is off the ground, knees are engaged, hands are wide, pressing into the fingertips. One more inhale. Exhale, we gently lower all the way down. Forehead kisses the earth. Hands should be right underneath the shoulders. We curl the toes. Exhale, pressing up into tabletop or plank before sending the hips up high, downward facing dog. Big inhale. Exhale sends you up to the top of the mat. So either crisscross walk, baby steps, hop, or taking one long stride to get there. When we do, we'll meet together in a forward fold. Maybe swaying gently from side to side. Maybe shaking the head, yes. And then no. Continuing to send the breath down into the belly. On your next inhale, we start to roll our way up to mountain, root to rise, active in the feet, arches are lifted, arms come up overhead. Palms kiss together and descend at the heart space. Inhale with the eyes closed, long exhale. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Palms flip externally as we swan dive forward, bending at the hips. Inhale lifts you up halfway. Exhale, fold, fingertips come down to the mat. We step the left foot back, dropping the back knee, flipping the foot, rising onto our fingertips. We come into a low lunge. Gaze is forward, chest is open. We're here for several breaths, letting ourselves sink in and explore this posture. We're pressing down and active through our foundation. So the sole of the front foot, the top of the back foot. One more breath. Inhale, we press through the front foot, lifting the chest, pelvis, arms come up overhead, biceps by the ears. Big inhale. On the exhale, we're pivoting the back foot, so the left foot, over towards the right side of the mat.
So drawing, the legs are now perpendicular to each other. So right knee is pointing to the front of the mat, left knee is pointing off the left side of the mat, left toes off the long edge of the right side of the mat. So knee down variation of warrior two. Arms come out, one in front, one behind. Big inhale, exhale, peaceful warrior variation. We're dropping the back arm, lifting the front arm towards the ceiling. If you feel stable enough to lean just a little bit, reaching towards the back edge of your mat. Exhale, extended side angle variation. So we drop the forearm to the right thigh. Back arm lifts up and over towards the front of the mat. Exhale, we're back to our our warrior two variation. And as gracefully as you can, we drop the back arm to the front of the left thigh before swinging it back to the front of the mat, pivoting on the back leg. We come back to our high lunge variation. Big inhale. Exhale, we drape the belly by the front thigh, dropping the hands, framing the foot. We lift the back leg, back knee, and pop the back foot up to meet the right, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, rolling our way up to mountain. Arms come with us up overhead, palms kiss together, descending at the heart space for one breath cycle. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Palms flip externally as we swan dive into our forward fold. Inhale lifts us halfway. Exhale, we fold. Fingertips come down to the mat. This time we step just the right foot back, dropping the back knee, flipping the back foot, low lunge variation. We're light on the fingertips, or let the fingertips hover just slightly above the mat. We're pressing into the top, into the sole of the front foot, top of the back foot. We're firm in the low body so that we can be light and lifted in the upper body. Your next inhale, we press into the front foot, lifting out of the hips, bringing the arms up overhead, biceps by the ears. High lunge variation. Big inhale. On our next exhale, we're going to pivot. So we're moving that back foot off the left side of the mat. Dropping the arms to our warrior two placement, wrist in line with the elbow, in line with the shoulder. Exhale, we drop the back arm, lift the front. Exhale, extended side angle variation. Exhale, back to warrior two. Big inhale, and on the exhale, we're dropping that back arm in front of the right thigh, pivoting it towards the front edge of the mat, and at the same time, replacing our back foot. So we're in our high lunge variation. Inhale. Exhale, we drape the palms on the around the front foot, lifting the back knee. We're going to draw the left foot back to meet the right, coming into plank. Exhale, we lower down slowly. You can either drop the knees or go full force here. Dropping the forehead. we start to make our way into a resting posture. So if that means stacking the hands to rest the forehead on, maybe you let the head rest to the side. Maybe you want the arms down by the sides. As we take a prone Shavasana. Repeat that sequence as often or as many times as you'd like. And feel free to rest in Shavasana for as long as you like, or you may save it for later. Thank you for practicing with me today. Thank yourselves for showing up. It is one of the most difficult things that we can do, but you did it. Be kind to your body and to others, and I will see you next time.